Family kitchen, 1 week before college starts. The kitchen smelled of freshly brewed tea and toast, but the moment felt anything but warm. You stood there, acceptance letter in hand, heart pounding with excitement. Your dream university, admitted with a near-full scholarship. Almost everything was covered, except for housing and a few fees. That's where the college fund your grandparents had left you was supposed to come in. With a hopeful smile, you asked, "So, can we finally unlock the college fund now? I'll just need a bit to cover the rest." The silence that followed was too long. Your mom stared down at her mug. Your dad let out a sigh, setting down the newspaper. "We used it," he said flatly. Your brother needed capital for his business. He had a vision. You blinked. What? He needed it more, your dad repeated, as if that made it better. He's trying to build something real. You turned to your brother, sitting across the table, spooning cereal into his mouth. He didn't even look guilty, just smug. "It's just money," he said with a casual shrug. "Don't be dramatic. You're smart, you'll figure it out." Something cracked deep inside you, not just anger, but a sense of betrayal you didn't even know could burn so cold. Years of honoring their rules, working hard, staying quiet. And this was the thanks. You didn't argue. You didn't scream. You simply nodded, walked out of the kitchen, and closed your bedroom door behind you. Then, you sat down, opened your laptop, and started planning, not just your way to college, but a way out. A way up. And eventually, a way back, so they'd know exactly what they lost when they chose him over you: small apartment, your part-time job. The apartment was barely more than a box, cracked tiles, flickering lights, and a heater that groaned louder than it worked. But it was yours. Your own space. Your own life. Days blurred together. Early classes at the local community college, then straight to the diner for your first shift. Nights were spent restocking shelves at a warehouse, pushing through exhaustion with caffeine and quiet determination. You studied during breaks, hunched over textbooks in supply closets or backroom lockers. Your diet was mostly instant noodles and day-old muffins, but it didn't matter. You were surviving. No, you were growing. Your parents didn't check in. Not once to ask if you were okay. Not once to say they were proud. The only time you heard from them was when your brother's business began to crumble under its own arrogance. Could you talk to some people for him? Maybe lend a little money? He's under a lot of stress. You responded with polite, distant texts. "Sorry, I'm working. Can't help right now. Best of luck." You didn't lash out. You didn't remind them whose future they stole to fund his pipe dream. You let them dig their hole while you quietly climbed out of yours. And in the background, you took notes, saved screenshots, found business records, tax filings, shady investor promises your brother had no way of keeping. You weren't bitter. You were prepared. Every late night, every ache in your back, every rejection, they became bricks in the foundation you were building. You weren't just going to make it. You were going to outgrow them. Outclass them. Outsmart them all. And when the time came, you wouldn't need revenge. You'd have something far more satisfying: anonymous business forums, social media, and alumni networks. It started with curiosity, just a quiet night, your shift over, the glow of your laptop the only light in your apartment. You typed your brother's business name into a search bar, not expecting much. But what you found made your blood run cold, and then boil. He'd taken the money your grandparents left for your education and registered it as an investor loan on public documents. Lied about where the funds came from. Claimed support from private investors, and forged fake names. You cross-referenced tax filings, found inconsistencies, then followed the digital breadcrumbs. Turns out, he didn't just steal from you. He burned a trail through half a dozen vendors, failed to pay interns, and ghosted early partners who had trusted him. You joined alumni forums from your community college, posing questions about small business fraud, taxes, and shady startups. Others began to chime in, names, dates, complaints. Quietly, methodically, you compiled everything. Screenshots. Emails. Receipts. LLC filings. You set up an anonymous email. Then you leaked. One tip to a disgruntled former partner. Another to an industry watchdog blog. A third to the IRS. You didn't use your real name. You didn't even hint you had a personal stake. You just let the truth do the damage you didn't have to. Weeks passed. The online business reviews turned savage. One of his early investors publicly demanded answers. A local journalist started sniffing around. You watched the cracks widen like glass under pressure. Your parents didn't call. But the silence began to shift. Nervous, unsure. You smiled to yourself, quietly folding your laptop shut. No screaming. No confrontation. Just quiet, precise accountability. And you weren't even close to finished. Family living room, 1 year later. The house hadn't changed, same worn couch, same dusty curtains, same photo of your brother front and center on the mantel. But everything felt different. You stepped inside, a calmness draped over your shoulders like armor. Your coat was designer, bought with money you earned from late-night freelance gigs and weekend consulting. You now attended one of the top universities in the country, your tuition covered by merit, scholarships, and hustle. You were proof that grit could outlast betrayal. Your parents greeted you with strained smiles. Not warm, hopeful. Desperate. Dinner was awkward. Small talk stumbled. No mention of your brother at first, until your mother finally blurted out, "He's having a hard time. The investigation is getting serious." You nodded, blowing gently on your tea. "We thought maybe," your father began, "not meeting your eyes, you could talk to someone for him. Or help with legal fees. You know business now, don't you?" You let the silence stretch. It filled the room like a second presence. Then, with the calm of someone who owed no one anything, you smiled and said, "You gave him my future. Now he's your responsibility." Your mother's lips parted, eyes shimmering with guilt. Your father shifted uncomfortably. Neither had an answer. You stood, setting your teacup gently on the table. "I hope you find a way to help him. Truly. But I won't be sacrificing myself again." You walked to the door with light steps. No anger. No need for it. Behind you, the house felt heavy. Stagnant. But outside, your world waited. Clean air, clear skies, and a future you built, brick by brick. You didn't need to slam the door to make a statement. Your silence said it all. University auditorium, graduation day. The auditorium buzzed with joy, cheers, camera flashes, proud tears from families who had walked every step of the journey with their graduates. But as you waited in line to cross the stage, you stood alone. No proud texts. No pre-ceremony hugs. Just your own heartbeat and the hum of your name, printed neatly in the program beside the words with honors. You stepped forward, cap steady, back straight. When your name echoed through the loudspeaker, the applause was scattered, but you didn't need the noise. The real victory was in the weight of the diploma you held and the acceptance letter in your bag, a high-paying role at a firm that had valued your talent, not your family name. In the crowd, you spotted your parents. Sitting stiffly near the back, unsure whether to clap or just sit still. Your mother dabbed at her eyes, but it wasn't pride, it was regret. Your father's hands were clasped, expression unreadable. They hadn't spoken much since that holiday visit. They knew what they'd done. Your brother wasn't there. Of course he wasn't. Maybe it was shame. Maybe just ego. Either way, his absence didn't sting. You didn't need him there. You took your diploma with a quiet smile, a private moment of triumph. You'd made it. Not through shortcuts or handouts, but through your own grit, your sacrifice, your refusal to give up, even when the very people who should have protected you left you behind. You looked out over the crowd, eyes steady, heart full. They took your safety net, hoping you'd fall. But instead, you learned to soar.